Hey there, you're listening to the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I'm your host, Heike Yates. We're here to help you live a healthy, fit, and confident lifestyle with tips, strategies, and interviews. Listen to the most inspiring women and how they dared to live the life they dreamed of and handled roadblocks in their path. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to know if you're subscribed to my podcast on iTunes. If you're not, then I want to encourage you to do that right now. I don't want you to miss out on an episode. I will put a link in the show notes so you can subscribe right there. And while you're there, give the show some love and leave a review in the ratings and review section. And write a review. I read all of them. So let's dive into today's interview. Well, hello there. Heike Yates here, and welcome to another episode of the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I am pumped that you're here today. Is it possible to fit in working out into an already busy, hectic, stressed out life? That's what we're exploring today with Dr. Mimi Secor, a nurse practitioner of 42 years who decided to see if a change was possible for her. Mimi has always been driven and loved to give to everyone around her, especially her patients. But it wasn't until her daughter confronted her, seeing her mom stressed out and frazzled from all the hard work and the stress of going back for a doctorate at age 59, that Mimi realized something needed to change, and why self-care is not selfish, and that there is no shame in getting older and feeling amazing at any age. So, are you ready to dive in? I'm sure I am. Enjoy. Hey everybody, today I'm joined by Dr. Mimi Secor. She's a nurse practitioner, a national speaker, figure competitor, consultant, and ReachMD radio host. She's worked 42 years as a family nurse practitioner specializing in women's health. At 59, she began her fitness journey and became an award-winning figure competitor at the age of 62. Mimi is also the host of the national show Partners in Practice. She has also been a guest on Good Morning America, interviewed by the Wall Street Journal and the Boston Globe. She also wrote several books. Her most recent book is Debut a New You, Transforming Your Life at Any Age. And that's the topic of our show today. So welcome to the show, Dr. Mimi.
Thank you, Heike. I'm so thrilled to be here.
It's such an inspiring and incredibly empowering story that you're sharing with our listeners today. So I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I'm curious, what did start you in the field of becoming a nurse practitioner?
You know, it was an odd, almost improbable happening. I went to nursing school, graduated, and I was, doing my thing and realized, oh my gosh, I want more responsibility for patient care. And it was at a time when no one knew what nurse practitioners were. In fact, they kind of referred to us as junior doctors. But I just was electrified by the idea of having more responsibility, more connection with patients. And I just became a nurse practitioner. They had federally funded free programs, and I was just on fire about it. And I've been on fire about it for 42 years.
Did you do this while you were having children?
Yes. So I practiced as a nurse practitioner. And at the time, we didn't have a lot of nurses with undergrad degrees. So I had to spend most of my career in school. And, just when you would think I'd be done, I decided to earn my doctoral degree at age 59, just to kind of keep that tradition of lifelong learning going.
Well, while you're on the roll, you might as well. That's the way I look at it. And
yes, it's good for brain training.
Honestly, when I go to the doctor, I'm so happy when I see the nurse practitioner, because you guys know just as much as the doctors, and oftentimes more than the doctors, and at least from my experience. And you take time to talk?
Well, we take time because we're really focused on empowering patients. We really want to educate and coach you so that you can take control of your life, which is really how that my latest book came about. I finally took control of my own life with my daughter's help around health and fitness, and I'm just like completely on an improbable journey.
Yeah. So when you started your doctorate, how far into it did you start your transformation? What happened?
Well, my daughter called me out. Within the first semester, I was really just fried to a crisp. I mean, the work that was involved was so extreme that I was just not sleeping. I wasn't eating well. I was so stressed, worried that I was going to flunk and everyone would know because I have a presence in social media. I'm very out there. So my daughter, she saw that because she was home preparing for competitions at the time, even though she's an older middle 20s
Uh-huh.
woman. So she said, Mom, you're not even a healthy role model. You can't even handle stress. I'm like, Catherine, I don't even have time for this conversation, but I hear you. And it actually was like a stake in my heart. I realized what a hypocrite I was being and that I'd always been that way. So I bring this persona of healthy health to my interactions with patients, but behind the scenes, I did not have my act together. So she said, Mom, I can help you. I was reluctant, but I said, okay, you think you can help me? I'm crying. I'm like freaked out. And she did. She very, sometimes gently, sometimes very assertively said, look, you got to start getting a little more sleep. You'll study better. You'll work better. You got to come with me to the gym. I don't care if it takes an hour. You'll study better as a result. Here, drink this water, eat this protein. Don't touch those chocolate chips. Don't touch that ice cream. And so I was lucky that I had, a built-in coach in residence to help me, but it was still very, very hard. So I was her first client. She's now a coach, a trainer. She's super accomplished. We co-teach together. And as a result of my improbable journey, I graduated 2 years later and I'd lost 30 pounds, gained muscle. And then she said, hey, Mom, as a dare, why don't you just think about being in a competition? I said, you have got to be kidding me. Seriously? No. Even when I was young, I never wore a two-piece suit. And this is just, then a little voice said in the back of my head, maybe this is possible. And I began to step up, raise the bar and sort of on myself. And I've just been driving through the fear.
Yeah. When you think about, because a lot of people don't know what we're actually talking about. What is a figure competitor? What is bodybuilding? There's the bikini competition, and all from my experience as a bodybuilder, people just think you quote unquote prance around on stage in a bikini.
Well, you know the hard work involved. It's every single decision you make about your life has to be goal focused, right? Every single minute, every hour, every day. And I mean, figures kind of between the pretty Barbie dolls and the, super muscular women like yourself. I, being postmenopausal, have a lot of challenge building muscle. I am building muscle, but I'm completely natural. And I want it that way because I want to live another day. I'm not willing to, interfere with my natural physiology. So it even takes more attention. But, I'm just thrilled that I've stuck with it for almost 5 years now.
Has it been 5 years?
Almost. I started at the end of 2013.
Yeah. So when you think back, you started out. So a figure competitor is what most women I'd like to say all women like to have a lean physique. Whereas a bodybuilder, you're a bulky and you're trying to get big. I don't think any woman maybe would want to be a bodybuilder, but the lean, sleek look of a figure competitor is just very pleasing to the eye. And when you think about when the listener would think, okay, so there's Mimi, and she's going to hit the weights, and Catherine is helping her, designing her program. So what would a workout be like for you to get in this lean shape that you were in for competition?
Well, I have a very stubborn metabolism, much like many students we work with. We work with a lot of women my age in our online mentorship programs, intensive mentorship programs. So I know what it's like to have a turtle's metabolism. So my first competition, it took me 9 months, believe it or not, on pretty much just keto. Now, how many people are willing to do that? I was afraid of it. I thought I would be starving and irritable and I would have no energy. And I was very, very apprehensive. But I actually realized that I feel very well. quite well on it. So that was that first year. I mean, even so, I couldn't really not lean my legs out sufficiently. It's kind of my Achilles heel. The following year, it took probably 6 months of essentially protein. Now, I think for listeners, they need to understand that a competitor's eating plan is different from an average woman's eating plan.
Absolutely.
I'm not suggesting that women just go exclusively onto protein at all.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many myths about keto anyway. They think they can eat all the bacon in the world, and that's just not a good idea.
That's what you say. Is like, I just talked to somebody who says, yeah, I had a big plate of bacon for breakfast. I'm going,
great.
Nope.
You're going to clot every artery.
Yes.
So it was challenging for me because I travel nearly every week. But what I've learned from that is you can find, there are healthy choices out there everywhere. And decisions are as hard as you make them in your mind. We get so wrapped up in resisting what we need to do to serve our health. And one of the focuses we have in our program is to make this process as easy as possible. And you have to learn to work with your mind to get your mind to cooperate, because it's all about homeostasis. It wants every excuse in the book to present to us to not change, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what excuses are. I'm not a morning person. I'm too tired. I'm too busy, blah, 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 blah. Those are all excuses. They're just ways for our mind to stay our bodies to stay the same in our mind. Mind's job is that. And we have to train it not to do that.
Not to do that. When you think about, you mentioned keto in your diet. When you think about also going forward, I mean, like you said, a diet like this is not sustainable for a long period of time. You need to change up, bring the carbs in.
Yes.
And what I always say is like, how bad do you really want it? When you want that lean look, you have to put things aside, or like you said, I'm training every day. I am posing every day, which is also a big part of being a competitor. Is not just slapping on the bikini, going on stage. You have to learn to pose and show off your muscles.
And walk and even focus, you just isolating those muscles. I'm still working on that, the mind muscle connection to my lats, and just that's foreign to most people. I spend more time trying to walk gracefully because I have so many orthopedic issues. I walk naturally like a truck driver, or, I have a really hard time walking. So, people would have no idea how much time I spend just trying to walk gracefully down the hallway at home.
Yep. And you have to wear high heels, whereas a bodybuilder, we were
terrible.
You guys in this stiletto-like shoes and have to pose.
That is not a joke, because I have ankle issues. I have nerve problems in my feet. I have knee meniscus issues. I have hip issues. None of that stops me, but I'm telling you, it's a whole nother level of anxiety for me to try to do a graceful walk.
Yep.
Very, very challenging. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but it's...
And so it takes so much work in keeping that going. It's for anybody listening, it is really, really hard work, because you can't eat what you want. And like Mimi's workout, what was your workout like? Can you give us like an example of?
My workouts are almost identical over time. I have a muscle group. I know I should separate bis and tris, but I tend to do them together. And, I usually do back separately, chest separately, quads and hamstrings, glutes and hamstrings separately, quads separately. I have my shoulder workout. I have a 6-day spread, basically, with 1 day of rest when I only do cardio. And sometimes I don't even do anything if I'm really tired. Because like I said, I travel all the time. I never know what the gym is going to have in it. I don't know if I'm going to have even an hour to work out when I travel, because I teach very long days. I'm up super early, and I teach essentially 8 to 12 hours a day with another person.
So you're teaching in the field
nurse
of
practitioners, basically nurse practitioners. Yes.
Do you teach them too about your bodybuilding and your competitive?
I teach them about health. I throw snippets in left and right when I teach whatever it is I'm teaching, whether it's pap smears or pregnancy or whatever I'm throwing out. There's no excuse for not taking care of ourselves. Oh, you don't have any time? Let's do a meditative breathing exercise right now. You have to breathe anyway. And I'll teach them how to breathe in on the count of 5, hold it for the count of 5, exhale on the count of 5. And then, if you're counting, you can say, hey, I just meditated, because you can't count and think at the same time. So I'll teach the busiest people I know how to meditate. And I do that absolutely consistently now when I stretch, which I do consistently. I didn't always do that, but I do it now because I have such orthopedic considerations, and they're 1,000 times better when I stretch. So it's
because you touched on two topics that I like to dive a little deeper into. One is orthopedic issues, my knees, my this, and I mean we are not young chicks anymore. And
no, but I think you're a tad younger than I am.
Oh, I'm going to be 58 in a week.
So. Oh, well, you're just a little behind me. I'm going to be 65 in August.
So just around the corner, and we have all these issues that are creeping up. And not that I'm suggesting that everybody should dive into bodybuilding and figure competitor, but I think that, like you said, there's all these excuses of I'm old, or I'm not worth it, or I don't deserve it, or should I be doing this?
Well, there's nothing I can do at this point. My life is over. I'm just going to kind of just retire and give up. One of the biggest messages, and I think the reason why our program resonates, is that women, essentially my age, between your age and my age, they look at me like, wow, there's still hope for me. If you can do it, maybe there's hope for me. Not that they're interested in bodybuilding, but they're interested in turning their health around. And I find initially it's inspiring for them, and then they realize, hey, maybe there is something that I can do step by step. And then we teach them, look, we all know what we should do, but it takes a system to really execute the changes. You can't go it alone, usually.
Yeah. And persistence. And when you have accountability, like you guys are offering for your clients, it's just super important to actually see results. But I always go back, it can be done. It
can be done. Exactly. It can be done at any age. You can feel healthier. Within 3 to 6 months of starting to lift weights, my back improved 1,000%, and it's been so much better. Really, overall, I feel so much better. I've just been a little derailed with some orthopedic issues, but I've learned how to work with them with the help of PTs and trainers. And, I still have a village of help myself. And I refuse to give up. And I think that's the attitude you have to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. What was the hardest part of that journey in the last 5 years?
Well, I'm certain, Heike, it was mindset, because my mind was ingrained in embedded in excuses. I'm tired. I have no time. I'm busy. I can't do it when I travel. I can't do it when I'm home, raising the child, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I was really embedded in my excuses. So it's been a process to kind of work through those. I used to feel intensely guilty sneaking off in the morning to go exercise and work out. I felt like I should be doing something else. It creeps in on me still. But, I realize it's so important. And if I can get it done early in the day is just so much better. I would say the other issue, though, is it's really easy to give up when you have orthopedic issue after orthopedic issue. And my issues don't last a few months. They last a good year or longer. And then another one pops up and it lasts a good year or longer. So I think that's unique to my age. And I think we just have to mentally really work with ourselves and be kind and gentle on ourselves and find people that can help us and not just throw in the towel. I have an orthopedic doctor. I have to get a new one because he says to me all the time, it's like a baseball pitcher. They just have so many pitches in their shoulder before they just have to say enough. And I don't like that attitude at all. I realize I can't be a long distance runner at this point, but I would like to walk most of the time without pain. I'd like to be able to do some kind of leg workout without pain. So it's interesting.
Yep. I ditched all those doctors too that have the no can do. It's like
ageism. The ageism is disgusting.
Yep. And it's like, oh no, you're an old fart. Let's stop running. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to stop running. I can do something better. And it's like, as you said, with strength training is the key for us women as we get older to the key to, it's more than anything else. You can say diet. Yes, it's a big part.
Yes.
But strength training, I'm like you, a huge believer in making changes on the body, increasing your
Yes.
metabolism. And you
Yes.
can do everyday stuff too.
Exactly. You can do functional weightlifting.
Yeah.
When I speak to any audience or any group, I say to them, look, do you realize that you start losing bone density and muscle mass at age 30 unless you do resistance training, and it's all downhill?
Yeah.
So, and also, as you and I both know, when you weightlift and do resistance training, it improves your balance
Yeah.
and your muscle strength and your bone health. So if you don't fall down, you're not going to break a bone. And you see all kinds of women your age, my age, that have, when you're going through airports, that have casts on and are in wheelchairs because they've lost their balance and their muscle mass over time, and they're all messed up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's like, I think what my next question for you would be, what was your biggest aha moment through the journey of getting healthy? And you cover already a couple of those.
I think it's just surprising myself. Like, holy moly, I can really get this body to change itself, that's why my book is called it's Debut a New You.
Yep.
Transforming your life at any age. I was pretty shocked. I'm still pretty shocked.
Yes. That's definitely a big aha moment. I love it.
It's wonderful. And when a lot of my audiences, people will come to me and say, did you have to have surgery to tighten your skin? And I said, no, if you lift weights, the skin will tighten. It's like magic. And I'll raise my clothes up so they can see my belly, because I used to have a big hanging pannus with I still have a central midline scar from my C-section, but it's all tight now. It's like, that was weightlifting.
You know, it's funny that you talk about your C-section, because that's what I get from my clients. They're like, well, you're so flat. And I say, well, I have 2 C-sections, but here's what you can do with weight training. And I incorporate Pilates, of course, on my end.
Yeah.
And
right.
they're like, really? I'm like, you don't have to have that pooch. C-sections are no excuses.
I call it the pooch too. Exactly. There's no excuse. Absolutely. Well, everyone has excuses, but you're right. You can say no to that pooch. I love that. I didn't know anyone else called it that.
Well, I'm German. I guess I make up my own words as I go along.
That's my little word too. That's so funny. I do have German ancestry, so you'll be
there
happy
you
to
go.
know.
See, we must pick the same words. Mimi, what would you tell other 3 things or more? What would you tell other women who would like to think that, who want to get in shape or best possible shape as they get older? What would you tell them?
I think the biggest message is to get help, create a system, build a tribe. And if you're older and you're kind of apprehensive about what you're doing, then start with a trainer at a local gym and make sure they know how to work with older, in quotes, older women.
Thank you.
In quotes.
Yep.
But not all trainers work with us that well. And sometimes the starting point is a PT. Maybe they affiliate with the gym. Also, you may think you know what you should be eating in terms of nutrition, but you may need a little help, even if you're a healthcare professional, to figure your own metabolism out. It can be a challenge. That is a big piece of what we do with our students. It can be a challenge. Every single person's different. Yeah. And like it or not, you've got to be accountable to the invisible calories. It's taken me 5 years to really be accountable for them. I've finally gotten rid of sweeteners in my drinks, and I've finally gotten rid of anything like cream or milk in my coffee or tea. I just drink it black now, but that's just been in the last 6 months to a year. So it takes a long time to train our brains.
Yep.
I just think people underestimate how much effort it's going to take, and they think they can do it on their own. And you just can't have enough help. Like my competition coach, I'm going to stay connected with him as long as I possibly can, even though I don't think I am going to do a show this year, because it's been 3 years of prep basically for me. Yeah. I think my body needs a break. But I'm staying connected with him for accountability and for guidance, because he works really well with women that have very slow metabolism. And then because I'm teaching with my daughter health and fitness programs, that keeps me plugged in as well.
Yep.
And I want to stay inspiring to people, so I can't just let the wheels fall off, nor would I ever want to again, ever.
Very good point. Very good point. I think it's so cute that and inspiring that you're a mother and daughter team. I agree.
It's just incredible. It's so incredible to watch my daughter in action. interacting with our students in such a competent and loving and supportive, but I call it loving discipline. She's very directive, but in a way that's kind of coaching, where people come up with their own solutions and then she sort of adds to it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of coaching. You don't tell people what to do. You inquire as to what they think they can tackle.
Yeah.
You kind of hone it.
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of her. I'm proud of how she is.
I saw pictures of her. She looks incredible. First off, she's super pretty, of course, but she's also in great shape for a competitor. She looks fantastic.
She is, and she's embracing her dimensions. I think that's another piece of what we teach our students is you're the same wonderful person, whether you're at the weight you want to be or not the weight you want to be. And we as females pick on ourselves. In fact, we bully ourselves, and we have to stop doing that. We just have to love ourselves no matter what. So I think that is a big piece that I've learned from her as she, works on herself, thinking, her self-value, where she's not, that stage weight, but she's just the same wonderful person. So we help our students embrace that as well.
Yeah, these are
healthy body image.
Healthy body image. There you go. And it doesn't have to be big muscles, small muscles, but it has to be a healthy body, healthy mind.
Yeah.
And like you said, embrace yourself for who you are and don't take yourself down and be taken down by others.
Yes. So we do a lot of, when you say something negative to yourself, that's a pattern we get into. The way you can start interrupting that is put an and or a but at the end of that phrase and say something positive. Eventually that negative part will fall off, which I think is so powerful.
Yeah. I usually, when I hear something negative, because I don't allow negativity in my private studio, and I hear something, I go, okay, and how will we rephrase that? At first, my clients look at me and go like, what? I'm like, no, we don't say that. Give me a positive. And they really stop in their tracks and go, oh, I did say that about myself. I'm like, yep, we're not doing that.
Good job. We're so like-minded. It's real weird. I wish we lived closer.
I know, at least you're on the East Coast with me. So many of
you're
my
in Maryland, right?
Yep, I'm in Maryland.
One of my friends I went to through my doctoral program with, she's a competitor now, and she lives in Fredericksburg.
Okay, Virginia.
Yeah, and she's going to be sort of that area. She's going to be in another competition this fall. She wants me to be, on stage with her, but I told her I'm certain I will not have enough months to prepare at this point.
Yeah. Well, you're so busy. Well, what's in the books for you coming up, Mimi?
Well, I'm very busy teaching, and I want to just get my metabolism working a little bit better after, 3 years of show prep. And I'm hoping that I can kind of get it to tolerate carbs without gradual weight gain. Yep. I'm pretty much just focusing my carbs around when I work out.
Yep.
I don't really eat them when I'm just sitting around. I'm hoping that will help me over time.
Yeah. Well, I always teach you have to earn your carbs to eat them.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, that's great. And a lot of women starve themselves, especially around workouts. And you're going to have a better workout if you have some carbs on board before, competitors do before, during, and after when they're in the bulking phase.
Yeah.
But a lot of women will have kind of suboptimal workouts because they don't have any fuel on board for their muscles.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mimi, how can people reach you and how can they purchase your book?
Oh, it's super easy. I have my daughter and I have a website called Coach Kat and Dr. Mimi, and it's all one word, Kat, K-A-T, Coach Kat, and you spell that out, A-N-D, Dr. Mimi, DRMIMI.com. So it's all like one word with no punctuation. It's not case sensitive. And there you can get my book. You can also send us a message if you're interested in our programs. You can just have a really good time on that website.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And, I have a website too, mimisecor.com. You can get my book there. But I would highly recommend if you're into getting healthy and you're really frustrated, we specialize in helping women that are frustrated with their lack of progress. They want to get healthy. Maybe they struggle with their weight. That's, really the demographic we like to work with, yet they want to get healthy. So if you're highly motivated, you're our person. So reach out to us. You can have a free call. And there's a place on the website where you can get that free consult.
Are you anywhere on social media like Instagram?
Yes. Oh, you know what? My Instagram is linked to my Facebook. I just reached the 5,000 friends on Facebook, so it's a good thing I'm linked on Instagram because I'm
Nice.
going to be using that more. So I have Mimi Secor on Facebook. They can follow me there. I have Mimi Secor, nurse practitioner, where I put a lot of more sort of medical stuff.
Hmm.
And then our daughter and I, we both have a Facebook called Coach Kat and Dr. Mimi.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's super easy. And you can throw us a message if you're interested. You can ask us questions. It's really very fun. I love to interact with people on social media.
Nice. Awesome. Mimi, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Heike. I had a great time. It was so fun interacting with you. I just love talking with like minded women who are not 18 years old, and keep doing the great work you're doing. And hopefully, we'll meet in person sometime very soon.
Absolutely. I hope so too. Mimi,
All
have
right.
a
Thank you,
great day
Heike.
and safe travels.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
So there you have it. Wasn't that an incredible interview? Mimi sure turned her health completely upside down and her life. She is such an inspiration. So tag us over on Instagram at Pursue Your Spark Podcast and at Mimi Secor and let us know what you think about the episode. Tell us how you may want to change your life around. Maybe not by being a figure competitor and a bodybuilder, but what steps could you take today that you're inspired to take after listening to this interview? Can't wait to hear from you, and I'll see you soon on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Have an amazing day. Ciao.